Decision 2020, we kick off a series of sit-down interviews with the candidates in a number of races, including the 22nd Congressional District. We begin with the 22nd Congressional District, and Democratic incumbent Anthony Brindisi here. Welcome.
Good to be here.
Doing the tour. I'm going to be asking you and your opponent the same questions, and I'm going to begin with the economy. The U.S. government has posted a record deficit, $3.1 trillion. Millions of Americans are out of work, including our neighbors here in the 22nd District. If another relief package is the answer, what does it include, but also at what cost? And how do you prioritize funding in what is expected to be a difficult budget year ahead?
Well, I think it has to include a number of things. One, it's got to include state and local funding. We see the state cutting education programs and aid to localities. You see our counties and our cities cutting back. So that's going to translate to a lot of job loss among public servants, police, fire, first responders, teachers. So that's a big piece of it. You need to have more small business support, another round of the Paycheck Protection Program. You need to have more direct payments to individuals and families to help pay for daily expenses and put food on the table. You need some form of unemployment assistance, childcare, food security. So there's a lot of things that have to go into this. One of the things that I was able to do was negotiate with the Problem Solvers Caucus, which is 25 Democrats and 25 Republicans, a framework for the next COVID relief plan. It was about $1.5 trillion, but we've heard estimates of around 1.8 or 2 trillion. We have to do something. The experts are telling us that we're not through this yet, and we got to do more to fight the pandemic and help the economy.
I mean, do you know at what cost, though, what comes out?
Well, look, the president, the House passed a $2.2 trillion plan. The president said go bigger than that. I think somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.8 to $2.2 trillion is probably the right neighborhood to be in.
What should the federal government do to make sure police officers can do their job effectively?
Well, law enforcement is a dangerous job, and we want to make sure that our law enforcement and our police departments are properly funded. That's why I don't support defunding the police. I've actually called for a doubling of the COPS grant, which is a community engagement program, which Utica has taken advantage of. They've been able to hire more police officers to do community policing programs. But we also have to recognize that we do need accountability. We don't want to see situations like George Floyd or others. So there has to be accountability among police officers. And we want to make sure that they have proper training and have the tools to be able to purchase things like body cameras.
If the Affordable Care Act were to go away, does something take its place? And what do you want to see included in that?
Well, I hope the Affordable Care Act doesn't go away, because the Congressional Budget Office has said that 23 million Americans would lose their health insurance if the Affordable Care Act were to go away. There are so many protections in place that are enshrined in the Affordable Care Act, like the protection for pre-existing conditions, so insurance companies can't discriminate against people who have asthma or heart disease or cancer, or now the 7 million people that have COVID, which can be considered a pre-existing condition. We need to make sure that we have essential health benefits, so things like maternity care and prescription drugs and emergency room is covered. What we have to do is we have to lower health insurance costs. One of the ways we do that is by going after the high cost of prescription drugs. I support allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices, which is a bill we passed in the House. I hope the Senate takes it up, because it will do a lot to help lower people's health insurance costs.
What is one top issue unrelated to coronavirus, unrelated to policing, which have been the headlines, that you feel is being pushed from the front burner, but it's important for voters to know about and where you stand on it?
Well, there's a number of issues. I would say, and it's hard to say, everything has some relation to coronavirus, but one of the areas that really needs investment is infrastructure. And I think that's kind of been put to the back burner a little bit. But we have to invest in our nation's infrastructure, rebuild our roads and bridges, invest in our energy grid so we can bring more renewable forms of energy onto the grid, and rural broadband. That's a big piece I'm pushing for. We saw the problems during coronavirus with people working from home and children learning from home. If you don't have access to high-speed internet, it's impossible to do that. So we need strong investment going forward in infrastructure, and a big piece of that has to be on broadband expansion.
Again, this is our incumbent Anthony Brindisi in the